I'm the Hooded Lid and welcome to my channel. Continuing on with new foundations. I'm happy about that. I'm a little concerned about the Anastasia foundation for a couple of reasons. One, they're not in the face business, they're in the eye business. And I don't think there's anything wrong with excelling in one area, just owning it. When I went to Sephora and looked at the shades, first of all, half of them were missing, and I thought maybe they're doing makeovers all over the place and people are taking them away. I mentioned something to an SA and she said, well, we didn't get the whole shipment. So that doesn't bode well. They did have 220N, which I had already gone online and figured that might be my shade. But I have to say the shades that I did see looked pretty darn yellow. So let's go. I've already done my skincare, my sunscreen. It's been sitting on my face for a solid half hour, 45 minutes. So let's just get in with the application. My base point is Fingers. This is kind of thick right off the bat. Not as thick as the Fenty. And I'm just going to try to get this in pretty fast. It's really cloudy today, so I had to turn on another light, and I'm just not sure. It looks okay in the LED monitor attached to the camera. Okay, there's your fast application. How's that? All right, notes. This went on easily. The finish is, pretty much what I started with. I know that this is a radiant foundation, but I started pretty radiant. So finish is not unusual. It's blended well, and I would say the coverage is light medium. I wouldn't say this is a solid medium, but light medium. And let's go on with some concealer and see how they work together. So I have two colors in the Bendy Avocado. My eyes were really dark this morning. I think I finally went to bed after 3 o'clock. Not that I didn't fall asleep on the sofa, and that should count as sleep, but I don't know, when you fall asleep on the sofa, do you feel like the hours that you were asleep on the sofa don't count as sleep? Because that's how I felt when I woke up. And I'm going to blend this with a brush. This is a Zoviva eyeshadow brush, but this is a pretty liquidy concealer, and sometimes I like to use a brush to do that. Alright, worked well with concealer, no problem there. I'm going to build up a little bit. I have so much discoloration on the side of my face. The fun thing about skin damage is, after you see the error of your ways, it doesn't stop. It doesn't say, okay, well, you're wearing sunscreen now, so don't worry. The damage you got from years before takes years to come up to the surface. And I have been very, very good about wearing sunscreen every single day for probably 5 years. But I continue to see things come up that I know are skin damage, sun damage. I take this Muji and wipe off my little mole here. And these moles don't have a lot of color to them. They used to when I was younger. But if you're looking for a skin-like finish and you have moles, take the foundation off the moles, because that is a sure read that you're wearing foundation. This built nicely. Still, I wouldn't say it's full coverage, but I'd say this is easy to manipulate. It lies very nicely on the skin. Alright, I'm back. I went to go look in my bathroom, which has very different light. It has LED light, and the walls are very white, like blue-white almost. And I came away with a couple of impressions. One is too light, which doesn't matter. It probably worked very well for me in the winter months. But two, it's too shiny, whereas the Fenty looked radiant. It looked like real skin to me. This looks a little greasy to me. So there's a note. I'm going to go ahead and do a test with a liquid blush and see if it responds well. This is the NARS Orgasm. The foundation didn't lift. It's a little tacky, but my skin started tacky, so that's not incredibly unusual. It feels, of course, less thick than the Fenty. I'm just trying to see if I'm getting anything off on my fingers. It doesn't look like anything came off the face, but there's some coming off the fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a powder. I'm going in with the Hourglass Veil and just doing some powder in the center of the forehead, the cheeks, where the glasses go, under the eyes. Alright, I end up powdering most of my face because I decided I'm going to try a bronzer, but I just didn't want to take the chance that it would skip. So there you go. I think the finish is quite nice after it's powdered, but we'll give it a few minutes to see if the luminosity comes back immediately or if it takes a little bit. I'm back, it's about 15 minutes later, and as you might be able to see, the radiance returned pretty quickly. So this is actually similar to Fenty like that, except for the Fenty to me looked like real skin, and this looks like slightly greasy skin. It looks like oily skin. But let me just let you know, it doesn't appear to be settling in any lines. I'm going to zoom in so you can get a closer look. And this is as close as I can get and remain in focus. I think it lays well on the skin. There's no problem with that. The radiance returned almost immediately after powdering. And now I'm going to go about my day and give you an idea of the wear test. Be back soon. Alright, this has been on for about 20 minutes and I get a little bit of rough off here, which is, you know, that's what happens. Not so much on this side. I just wanted to check in before I leave. This is primarily the difference I'm seeing right now between the Fenty and the Anastasia is the Fenty is a little bit thicker, and I think as a result fills the pores a little bit. With this, the shine that I'm getting feels, one, not so much skin-like as greasy looking, and two, shows every pore in my face. And I'm not a girl who obsesses about her pores, so I'm not in love with the finish. There's something a little bit unflattering about it. I am going to take the big brush filled with Laura Mercier just as I did yesterday with the Fenty and see if I can tone this down a little bit more. Now I've kind of mattified everything here, but this foundation was radiant immediately after I used the Hourglass, so I have a feeling this mattedness isn't going to last too incredibly long. I just wanted to give you an update on what I was seeing. But I'm going to go do some errands and I will come back in several hours and we'll see how it held up. I'm not going to do any more powdering. And there's the little dog coming in. And I will see you soon. Alright, I am back for midday, not certainly the end of the day look. It is a little bit before 1 o'clock and the light is much nicer now. This is kind of my sweet spot for my light. And, well, right now, as the year changes, that will change. And looking in, I have actually a mirror that's more than 8X that I had looked in. I am seeing some settling in this area right here, and these little, teeny little lines here, and on the lip lines, and the cheeks look a little polka dotty to me. A little settling in the laugh lines, both of them. And the forehead doesn't look that good. Now, I'm not someone who obsesses about my forehead. It's not an area that I am too concerned about. I think it looks pretty decent considering how old I am, and I don't have any Botox or fillers or anything going on in my face, and that's just not a worry area for me right now, but it's not looking that good. On the other hand, when I look in the bathroom mirror, it looks pretty, it looks nice. I think the part of the problem is I fell in love with the Fenty, and this is such a similar situation with the same kind of finish that I'm just comparing them. And I felt that the Fenty looked nicer on the pores. It didn't exaggerate them. I think because it's a thicker foundation, so it might have a somewhat of a filling action. And I just felt it looked like real skin. And that could have partially been the color, although this color is decent. But I think it was also how it was laying on the skin. So, you know, if I didn't have that Fenty behind me just from yesterday and the day before, I might be looking at this a little differently, but I'm going hard on this one because I'm not going to buy both. I want to figure out which is going to work best for me. So, I mean, if I hadn't tried the Fenty, I probably wouldn't be so hard on this one right now, but I did. So that's the reality that we're working with. I'll be back in a few hours and we'll see what the progress has been. I'm back, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I've come to some conclusions. When I am wearing these glasses and looking in a magnified mirror, which is more than 8X, I do see some settling in the lines around the lips, both on top and at the bottom. A little bit in the laugh lines, not terrible, and the cheeks look a little polka dotty. Now that could be the powder, maybe not, and I don't think the forehead looks all that great. I look at this and I think, you know, my skin looks okay. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great. The application was very easy. The color is very good. It is a little too radiant, but you can powder that down. But the powdering kind of gives it that polka dot cheeks look that I'm not a big fan of. It's certainly long wear. There's really no sign of it breaking down. Of course, around the nose where the glasses are, it doesn't look good, but that's totally normal. Something just dropped. I don't know anything that doesn't do that, so I wouldn't expect otherwise. You know, I haven't been holding my face up, I haven't been napping, I haven't done anything exerting, I haven't exercised, so I can't say, you know, it's transfer proof or it's waterproof. I just don't think it looks fantastic. And right now I think the Fenty looks fantastic. I hate to say it again, it's not bad. It's not bad. If I hadn't tried the Fenty, I would say I really like it. It's just that I have tried the Fenty. So, if the Fenty doesn't work for you for some reason, you might want to give the Anastasia a try. I felt the Fenty looked nicer on the pores, and I suspect because the formulation is a little thicker, it might be filling out the pores a little bit, so it really looks more like skin, whereas this, when it's not powdered, I kind of feel like you can see every single pore on my face. I think I've already stated that. I have tried to go in very close and I just can't get focus, but I will go in as close as I can right now while maintaining focus. So the areas that I'm seeing, which you may or may not see, are around the lip lines here,
and I have lip lines here on both sides. Right through the smile lines, it's not too bad, but I am definitely seeing some polka dot right through here, more on this side than on this side. And I'm not in love with the way the forehead looks. I think the lines on my forehead, which aren't too horrible, are exaggerated. So that's going to be it for me, kids. Thanks so much for coming. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope I might have entertained you for a few minutes. I don't know if I was very funny in this one. Sorry, I think I'm getting foundation fatigue. But I still need to go to Sephora and get the Natasha Denona. I hope you come again, and until then, I'm wishing you a great day.